speaking out of turn. There will be no clapping, no booing, no catcalling, no noise making when anyone else is speaking. This is not a public hearing and this is not a rally. This is a board meeting. If anyone is allowed to come up to the microphone or to the podium, their remarks are to be addressed to the board only. If anyone does not abide by those rules, we have two deputies from the St. Croix County Sheriff's Department that have been kind enough to come and attend our meeting tonight and will help us maintain peace and decorum. Because no matter what anyone else in this room thinks, we do hear from all sides of our people here in the town, and whether you like it or not, we all need to be mindful and respectful of that. So we're going to ask that you all be quiet and allow business to go on here at this board meeting and not treat it like it is a rally. Yes, sir.
You said anyone can come to before the board. Are we going to give our town residents preference?
We can decide that at whatever agenda item we get to, okay? I just been saying that if they're allowed to come to the podium, this is what they have to do. And if you're allowed to come to the podium, you're gonna have to fill out one of those comment forms back there and hand it off to Chris down here at the end to collect. Because we're not allowing, if we do allow people to speak tonight, we're not allowing you to speak without filling that out with your name and address and the other information that's on it. So just so everyone knows, be aware, we opened this meeting and went into closed session, and now we are back in open. I'm going to start at the agenda where the meetings and events are. Those are our upcoming meetings for the town of St. Joseph. We have monthly status reports. They are all in our drive. I don't know that there is anything pressing that we need to go through. The library report came in late today and I did not get it in the drive, so that's not the one that's not there. So, let me see if she's on here. She's not on here, but it's on here. Lori, would you do me a favor and grab the Senate remote and get the projector going? I just realized it wasn't on. Also, I'd like to say to anyone who is online, you need to mute yourself because we do get feedback. Right now, we're hearing a child down here, so please mute yourself. If you wish to speak, you can unmute and state your name. Okay. So we will move on. This is our microphone for everybody. And there's microphones at the podium and on the tables here for all of us to speak into. Public comment is here on the agenda for anything that is not on the agenda. So if you are here for any item on the agenda, this is not your time to speak. But if you are here for something that is not on the agenda, you sure can get up and speak. Chris, do you want to collect that from him? And just introduce your name. You can stop at the microphone if you want to speak at the podium on public comment.
Lester Weber,
Yep.
New Richmond.
I guess I'll start out with, I'm Hunter and a gentleman.
If you're going to talk about the Second Amendment, this is not the time.
I'm not gonna talk about the Second Amendment. It's just, I'm stating who I am
Okay?
and why I feel the way I do. And I feel that we should be helping to control gun violence and killing, not promoting. Because it will happen with open carry. I'm not against open carry. What I'm against is open carry in government buildings. There is no need for guns in a government building other than a sheriff or his deputy. All it will promote is this is not only for the government meetings, it's our voting time. And all of a sudden, there will be open carry at voting times. I don't agree with that. That's intimidation. This is a government property. There is no need for it. And I don't feel that we should be returning to the uncivilized days of our history. range wars between ranchers and farmers. And it was people with guns that was doing most of the damage. Guns were made for maiming, killing, and for wars. Not to be used on people in general. It's getting out of hand, and it's time for our country to return to more civilized ways again and use a lot more common sense. And go along, we can all get along together. Like I said, I'm not against open carry, it is what it is. But there are places for it and places where it does not belong. And I feel this resolution has implemented.
Well, we can't talk about the second resolution, because that's on the agenda.
Okay.
That's what he's been doing the whole time.
What else do I have here? Yeah, it's gonna promote vigilantes, is what it's gonna do, in my opinion. That's personally my opinion, and that's what we do not need to go back to. We should all be helping take care of each other, for each other, and for the country as a whole. And I think that's enough.
All right, thank you. Lord, or else we'll call Justin to help out. Okay, anyone else in public comment, something that's not on the agenda? You can come to this.
So you only let people.
Okay, we will move on. The first thing that's on the agenda, and we have Bobby from the St. Clair County on here. Hello, Bobby. And you can put him on here so he's the one we read. You received an email from him regarding the offer that St. Clair County made to acquire the land here at County Road B and E. I should back up. We received an offer from their consultant. We countered back. And Robbie and his staff took another look at it and feels that the offer that they made us is fair and equitable based on the fact that this is not residential property on this corner. So Robbie, if you just want to introduce yourself and just speak quickly to that, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, good evening. I just want to make sure that you can hear me first.
Yes, you can. Yep.
Great, thank you. I'm Rob Krejci. I'm the Highway Commissioner for St. Clair County. I appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight regarding our project on County Highway E, which will run from 14th Avenue to approximately 1,000 feet east of the intersection of B and E. We are looking to do multiple enhancements there, and we're looking at working with the town on acquiring a small piece of property that will be utilized to help expand the intersection's footprint. Also enhance some of the safety characteristics of the intersection. The basis of our offer to you and to all the offers of all properties along County Highway E is based on a sales study that the county performs, which is required by law when we acquire right of way. So we perform a sales study either every year or every other year, in which the land, we divide the county into quadrants usually, and that land is based on a value based on fair market value and equitable sales. So the offers that we extended to you and to all property
Recording in progress.
along County Highway E
Recording stopped.
were based on that sales study. The sales study has been made.
Recording in progress.
You guys are welcome to examine. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the nuts and bolts behind how and why we formed our offer the way we did. As I said, I welcome any questions regarding the County Highway E project, and we do look forward to working with you and getting this project completed and getting this section of County Highway E upgraded.
Anyone on the board have any questions for Robbie? Is that our County Highway Commissioner? Does anyone want to make a motion to accept that offer? And you have to state your name so she can hear you.
Rick Colvin, Supervisor
Two.
2. I make a motion to accept the offer from the St. Croix County for the right-of-way
at the intersection of E and V.
We aren't getting any audio on the Zoom call, so I hope I'm not missing any questions.
We'll just do this.
Oh, you muted the phone. Here, no. Okay, we're gonna try it again, Robbie, sorry about that, we're trying again.
I'll make a motion that we accept the offer from the St. Croix County for the town's right-of-way at the intersection of E and V.
Is there a second to that?
Second, Chris Marshall, Supervisor 4.
And Liz, that was Rick Colbert that did the first part of the motion. Any other discussion regarding it? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that passes. Thank you so much, Robbie.
Thank you so much, and we'll report back, when we get a little closer and more report on the overall project. I appreciate you guys' time this evening.
Thank you. The next thing on our agenda is to approve the temporary Class B beer license for the Redeemer Lutheran Church. That's also in your drive. Anyone want to take that up?
I make a motion to issue a temporary Class B beer license for Redeemer Lutheran Church at 1097 Scott Road. Chris Marshall, Supervisor 4.
Is there a second?
Second, Darla Myers, Supervisor 1.
Any other discussion regarding it? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and it passes. These two, Jennifer Bednar and Robert Murphy, are either one of you here tonight?
Yeah,
Do you guys wanna come over to the microphone? Or you just?
is right here good? I can go there if you like.
I'd like you to go there,
I'll
because then
go
I can get you on tape.
Do you mind if I go there first, or you wanna go? Sorry.
Whoever wants to go. Both of these people applied last month for their operator licenses. They've had them in the past. The board chose not to approve them, and they're both here to speak to us tonight. And you are Robert Murphy, and you're looking for a 2-year license, and you're working at Bob and Steve's BB.
That is correct.
Okay, and would you just like, how many years have you had the license?
Well, I've been there at least 6 years, I would say. I've had a license to serve the whole time. The reason I don't know why it was denied, there was some OWIs on my record 10 to 7 years ago. So it might have looked bad on the application. However, this was a renewal that I had applied for after 6 years of serving. I'm not sure why it was turned down.
It wasn't turned down, the board did not take action.
Oh, I'm sorry for
So,
my wording there.
that's okay. It still means you didn't get a license.
Sure, I would love to just ask what I need to do to get that acted upon and reinstated to keep my job.
What are you looking at?
I would like, take any questions if
Yeah,
there's.
if anyone has any questions for him?
Make a motion to approve the license for Robert Murphy at Bob and Steve VP
Chris, what are you, 2 years?
for 2 years.
Second, anyone want to second it?
Supervisor Colvin, second.
Any other discussion on this? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? That passes, we'll send it out to you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you are Jennifer Bednar. That's correct. And you're looking for a 1-year license, and you work at Big Guys. Correct. I don't know if anyone on the board wants to speak to her as to why you did not approve that one, or if you'd like to speak to us about why you want to approve it.
I don't know, I've been serving there for over a year, and serving people for about 20, it's a job.
Chris Marshall, Supervisor 4. I make a motion for operator's license for 1 year for Jennifer Bednar, Big Guys.
Is there a second?
Supervisor Colvin, I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and it passes. Thank you for coming in, and we'll get that out to you next week.
Thank you very much.
The City of Stillwater fireworks permit application that has come in for, I believe it's August 14th. They delayed it this year, not doing it on 4th of July weekend because they're doing the grand opening for the trail and the whole project of the bridges, so that's why they have a different date on the fireworks permit. And we have always approved it because it happens on our side of the river on land that the city of Stillwater owns. So who wants to make that motion?
Chris Marshall, Supervisor 4, I make approval for the city of Stillwater fireworks permit application.
Is there a second?
DeRozier, second, and ask that it be amended to state the date of August 14, 2021.
Thank you. It said the right date. It doesn't have to be amended. I just said the wrong date. And they normally don't pay us the fee like everyone else does because it's a municipality give and take here, so. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, and that passes. And the last thing on my quick agenda here is Arbor Hills. We don't have anything on them on their developers agreement yet, please?
We're aware of.
Nothing has started yet, okay? I'm keeping it on here so I don't lose track as this goes forward, so that we're on track on this one, so that is why it's on there. The next one is the Second Amendment resolution that was brought back to the board by the board. There is this folder, just so the board is aware. All the copies are in there except what is stapled to this spreadsheet. And I just want to open that up so the board's aware. This spreadsheet was done at 1 o'clock today. It has 81 plus people's names on it. It shows you the date they made the contact with us by email, and whether they were for or against, and whether they were a resident or an unknown. And there are some totals at the bottom, and then the last pages attached to that were what I had between my email and the clerk's email after I got back here at 4 o'clock today. I think there might be one or two that I forwarded to you when I sat down here tonight. And there still may be another one or two on there, but they came in so late that I wasn't able to process them through to you all. So I'm just letting you know that that's what is here. The Wisconsin Towns Association was very clear to me that we do not have to take comments from anybody on this. You know, we've had a pretty long comment period as it is, and that we can separate people in this hall so we know who's from our town and who's not from our town. As long as you're all in the same room, that doesn't matter. So as a matter of record, I am willing to read this resolution in, if that's what the board wants to have it read into the record. You okay with that? No, yes? Okay. This is resolution 2021-14, is the resolution of the Town Board of Supervisors supporting residents' constitutional rights under the Second Amendment. Whereas the Constitution of the U.S. is the supreme law of our nation, and whereas the right of people to keep and bear arms is guaranteed as an individual right under the Second Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And under the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, Article 1, Section 25, which reads, the people have the right to keep and bear arms for security, defense, hunting, recreation, or any other lawful purpose. And whereas the U.S. Supreme Court in District of Columbia versus Heller, 554 U.S. 570, 2008, affirmed an individual's right to possess firearms unconnected with service in the militia for traditionally lawful purposes, such as self-defense within the home. And whereas the U.S. Supreme Court of McDonald versus Chicago, 561 U.S. 742, 2010, affirmed that the right of an individual to keep and bear arms is protected under the Second Amendment is incorporated by the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment against states. And whereas the people of the town of St. Joseph, St. Croix County, Wisconsin, derive an economic benefit from all safe forms of firearms recreation, hunting, and shooting conducted within the town of St. Joseph, St. Croix County, using all types of firearms allowable under the U.S. Constitution and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and whereas the town of St. Joseph Board of Supervisors being elected to represent the people of the town of St. Joseph and being duly sworn by their oath of office to uphold the U.S. Constitution and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and whereas the town of St. Joseph Board of Supervisors is concerned about the passage of any bill containing language which could be interpreted as infringing the rights of the citizens of the town of St. Joseph to keep and bear arms, and whereas the town of St. Joseph Board of Supervisors wishes to express its deep commitment to the rights of all citizens of the town of St. Joseph to keep and bear arms. And whereas the Town of St. Joseph Board of Supervisors wishes to express opposition to any law that would unconstitutionally restrict the rights of citizens of the Town of St. Joseph to keep and bear arms. And whereas the State Assembly, Wisconsin State Assembly and Wisconsin State Senate being elected by the people of the state of Wisconsin and being duly sworn by the oath of office to uphold the U.S. Constitution and the Constitution of the state of Wisconsin. And whereas any legislation by the Wisconsin State Legislature that would, one, infringe upon the right to keep and bear arms, and two, would ban the constitutionally protected possession and/or any weapons, including firearms, magazines, ammunition, or body armor for defense of life, liberty, and the property under Second Amendment. 3, would ban possession for the purpose of hunting or other lawful recreation. 4, would require a firearms owner ID card, or would tax the possession of firearms or ammunition. Or 5, would require the registration and or confiscation of such weapons and ammunition within the Town of St. Joseph, St. Croix County, Wisconsin, would be considered a violation of the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution and Article 1, Section 25 of the Wisconsin Constitution. That was a long paragraph, excuse me. Now therefore, based upon the foregoing recitals, the Town of St. Joseph Board of Supervisors issues the following resolution. Be it resolved that the Town of St. Joseph Board of Supervisors declares its intent and policy to preserve its residents' rights under the Second Amendment to the U.S. Constitution and Article 1, Section 25 of the Wisconsin Constitution. Be it further resolved, the Town of St. Joseph Board of Supervisors affirms its support of the St. Croix County Sheriff to exercise sound discretion not to enforce against any citizen an unconstitutional law. And be it further resolved that the Town of St. Joseph Board of Supervisors opposes the enactment of any legislation that would infringe upon the right of the people to keep and bear arms. So that is the resolution. Hopefully you all got a copy of that. Now it is up to the board as to whether we're going to take any comments or we're just going to move forward with action on this item. Where does the board wish to be? We don't have to take comments, we're not required to. That's been made very clear to us by our attorney and by the WTA. So it's up to the board as to whether they wish to or not to.
Like to hear comments.
Rick?
I'd like to hear less than 1 hour of comments.
What's the?
Well, we'll start off with Danielle Zener, 1374 Fox Ridge.
Just before you do, I did not hear from Lori as to whether she wanted your comments or not.
I will agree to comments, yes.
And are we gonna put a time limit on it? Are we gonna allow them 1 minute? Are we going to allow us an hour? What are we gonna do?
2 minutes a person and no more than 1 hour.
Are you comfortable with that? Are we gonna hear from residents or from everybody?
I'd like to hear from residents first, and then see where our hour ends up.
Okay. So just so we're clear, it is 12 minutes to 7. Who's gonna run the stopwatch? Who's got their phone with them? You're gonna run the stopwatch?
I'll watch it.
You're gonna watch it? Okay, otherwise you're on your phone, you know. Okay, so, that's the first piece of paper you were handed?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
Good evening, I'm Danielle Zenner. I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for 35 years. I've also been a gun owner since I was 12 years old. I'm a hunter.
Excuse me, I'm just gonna interrupt you. You have to address the board.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Did you hear what I said, so I don't have to
We
do
heard
it?
you.
Okay.
You have to address the board.
I love hunting, I love guns, I want safety in guns because I know what guns can do to a human being. I think this is a clearly partisan, divisive resolution. As a citizen of the United States and therefore protected under the rights granted by the Constitution, I reject this effort and submit that openly announcing this town's willingness to ignore any gun law that a partisan base preserves as unconstitutional. A law that has been passed by federal or state governments intended to protect my life, my liberty, my freedom, my pursuit of happiness is unconstitutional. No man or woman is above the law, and that includes you and the St. Croix County Sheriff and their deputies. Sheriffs are elected and hired to protect and serve the people of St. Croix County, not to interpret the constitutionality of the laws. I think it's ridiculous that we're even having this at this moment in time, because we have a constitution. We have the Second Amendment. I'm all for it. We don't need to do this extra crap that allows unlawful people to carry guns and injure innocent people. That's who gets injured in these violence.
Thank you.
Okay, you have that one?
Marion Shaw, 1726, Highway 12.
Well, Mary,
I'm
unfortunately, is not
I'm
resident.
out of town.
Unless you moved.
Thomas Humphrey, 531 First Lake Road.
Madam Chair, board members, my name is Thomas Humphrey, head of the 531 First Lake Road. We're here tonight to voice our opinions on a very important resolution that would make St. Joseph Township a sanctuary city for citizens' constitutional right to keep and bear arms. There's never been a more important time in history for this, as many of our constitutional rights are under attack, specifically the First and Second Amendments. When voicing for our support or opposition for this resolution, I'd like you to consider the following facts. The cities of Chicago and New York are a perfect example of the current situation. In both of these cities, the right to keep and bear arms is tightly controlled, yet gun violence runs rampant. CNN reports that the 4th of July weekend saw a combined 129 shootings and 20 fatalities due to gun violence, and these cities have very stringent gun laws. So far this year, gun violence incidents in New York has spiked almost 30% over 2020, with 773 shootings. In Chicago, 2019 people have been shot, and 364 people have been killed this year. You may think these facts support gun control, but they do not, and here's why. The people who shoot other people, unless it is in self-defense, are criminals. They don't care about the law. Think about it. What carries a heavier penalty? Possession of an illegal firearm or shooting someone? If someone is going to, with criminal intent, shoot someone, they could give a rip about violating a gun possession law. The only people that these types of laws affect are people who care about not violating the law. These gun control laws have zero impact on people with criminal intent. That's why we call them criminals. Just like fentanyl or any other illegal or controlled substance, there will be a market for illegal guns, and people who scoff at the law will get their hands on weapons. Gun control laws will be banned. The only people without guns will be the law-abiding citizens who want to defend themselves. Second Amendment supporters are not asking everyone to go out and buy a gun. We are only asking that our right under the Constitution to keep and bear arms be respected, so that those of us who want a firearm to protect ourselves continue to have that right. And this resolution supports that thought process. Thank you.
Thank you. Justin Cruz, 1170 Sundance Pass.
Hello and good afternoon. I'm also one of the citizens and residents of the town of St. Joseph who sent in an email to all the town board members. This resolution should not even be proposed to the town board. It's outside the scope of this institution and what it represents and the capacity in which we're designed to serve, or you are designed to serve for us as citizens. This is something that should be handled at a state level and a federal level to which the Constitution already serves. So my understanding is this is a unnecessary resolution, nor is it an enforceable one by any institution that this body has the ability to instruct or direct. So I would ask that this not move forward from here. Thank you.
Thank you. Anton Ray.
I have to agree with Justin that this is not really a resolution that belongs at the town level. Gun laws are at the state level and federal level. The town has no authority to unilaterally revoke the enforcement of any of these. I understand reading this new resolution that it looks like it's at least probably legal in the sense that we're no longer saying that we are unilaterally just saying laws don't apply there. But it is divisive. It has no effect. There's no legal effect with this. There's not really any effect other than trying to divide the community. And that just seems, that's not the job of the board. The job of the board should be A, to govern the town, and B, to bring the community together as a community. Thanks.
Keep using the word.
Mike Myers, 1098 Golden Oaks.
Madam Chair, Supervisors, I'd like to remind everybody here that this type of a resolution is not at all unprecedented to be dealt with and considered at the town level. There are many, many towns in Wisconsin and around the country that have passed these types of resolutions. Also many counties that have passed these types of Second Amendment sanctuary resolutions, so it is definitely within the purview of your roles as supervisors to consider this. Secondly, the purpose of the resolution is to send a message up to the other branches, to the county, to the sheriff, to the other towns and cities, to the state, what the position of the people in this town is on the subject of the Second Amendment, being supporting of it, and enforcing and keeping it from being infringed. It is clearly, unless your head's in the sand, under attack. We can all see in the news, our constitutional rights are being tested around the COVID situation and certainly around the Second Amendment. I would urge you to consider the notion that there's very many people, a lot of them here, who support the Second Amendment and this resolution. Not necessarily all of them sending emails. So I would welcome you to consider the broad public, your constituents, when you make a decision on this matter. And it's a very important thing that we deal with now, and we send a message. Thank you.
Sue Curtis, 1101 37th Street.
I'm speaking to you tonight, as I have before, no letters that I sent you to oppose this resolution. This resolution does not belong in our community. It's done a lot of damage already, a lot of division. Because other townships approved this resolution does not make it right. We must do what's best for our community. I would rather see resolutions that protect our groundwater, protect our pollinators, and protect our environment, rather than something that's already protected in the township.
Anyone else? Anyone online from the town of St. Joseph that wishes to speak, you can unmute yourself and introduce yourself. They can't unmute. Just being sure.
Either that or I fixed it really good.
Or else you fix it really good and no one's gonna talk.